Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Laura Prada from the Telesur studios in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. We begin in the United Kingdom, where Prime Minister Theresa May has won the crucial vote of no confidence in her leadership of the Conservative Party. This means she has secured her immediate future as party leader and Prime Minister. The vote passed with 200 in favor and 117 against. Senior MP Sir Graham Brady delivered the news.
The result of the ballot held this evening is that the parliamentary party does have confidence.
In Venezuela, President Nicolás Maduro accused the United States of plotting a new attack against him and his government. Speaking from the Miraflores Palace, Maduro said that the U.S. National Security Advisor, John Bolton, is in charge of an operation hoping to assassinate him and facilitate a coup d'etat. The president stated that his government has evidence that the Colombian government is facilitating the training of hundreds of Colombians and Venezuelan paramilitaries in the Department of the Norte de Santander, and that they are planning false flag operations on the Venezuelan border states. Despite U.S. efforts to undermine democracy in Venezuela, Maduro said his government is committed to dialogue and respect between his country and the United States.
Hoy vengo otra vez
Now,
a denunciar
I come again
el complot
to
que desde la Casa
condemn
Blanca
that
se
plot
prepara
prepared
para
from the White House
violentar la democracia venezolana,
to attack
para
democracy in
asesinarme
Venezuela,
y para imponer
to
un gobierno
assassinate
dictatorial
me,
en Venezuela.
and to impose a dictatorial government in Venezuela.
Ha sido asignado
It
el señor
was
John Bolton nuevamente
John Bolton
como
was
jefe del
assigned
plan del
as the head
complot para
of
llenar de
this
violencia a
plan
Venezuela
to bring
y para
violence to
buscar una
Venezuela
intervención militar extranjera,
and to
un
seek
golpe de
a
Estado,
foreign
asesinar
military
al presidente Maduro
intervention
e imponer lo que llaman ellos
with a plan to
un
assassinate
consejo de
Maduro
gobierno transitorio.
and impose a
Lo estoy
transitional
diciendo.
government council.
Hay una negación permanente de que en Venezuela hay una democracia.
There is a
Ustedes ven
denial
las declaraciones del gobierno de Estados Unidos y sus
that
satélites.
there's democracy in Venezuela.
En Venezuela hay que restituir la democracia.
They keep talking about how we have to
Maduro es un
return democracy to Venezuela and how Maduro is a
¿Por qué nos
dictator.
llaman dictador?
Why do they call us a dictator?
Para justificar cualquier acción
To
contra
justify
Venezuela.
any action against Venezuela.
Es una operación simple.
It's a simple operation.
Al lado de esto hay una campaña de desinformación
Alongside that, there's a
que no
campaign
tiene
of
parangón
disinformation
con ningún país del
unparalleled
mundo.
in any other country of the world.
Uno de los más altos niveles estaba en
At
cuenta,
one of its highest
informado
levels,
y autorizó el
was
dron contra Nicolás Maduro.
absolutely informed and
nosotros, no tengo duda en
authorized
este
that
momento.
drone attack against myself.
Y que el mismo personaje
And that the
que
people,
autorizó el uso del dron
the
y el
person who
asesinato del presidente
authorized
Nicolás Maduro
the use of that drone to assassinate President
protege
Maduro
a
protects
los autores intelectuales y
the
planificadores del
masterminds
atentado
behind
que
the
viven
attempt,
protegidos por el gobierno de Estados Unidos en la Florida.
protected
Unidos
also from the United States.
se ha aumentado
They have increased
el dinero
the
de
amount of
partida
money
secreta
of secret funds
dirigida al soborno y a la
intended
compra y al
to
quiebre de
bribe
oficiales venezolanos para
and
que los utilicen
break
en un
apart, win
pronunciamiento,
over
en un disturbio
Venezuelan
militar contra el gobierno
officers
legítimo y la democracia venezolana. Han
to
aumentado la
take
cifra
action
de
against
40 millones
democracy.
de dólares a 120 millones de dólares. Y ese
This has been
recurso,
set up to $120 million
si alguien lo
in this
investigara
fund
en
to
Estados Unidos con
bribe
seriedad,
Venezuelan military officers
encontraría las manos de John
to
Bolton metido en ese recurso.
collaborate. So this plan of John
Cuenta
Bolton's
con otro centro de operaciones,
has another operational
la
center,
base aérea de Tolemaida, en el Melgar, Colombia.
Tolmeda Air Base in Colombia.
Whilst denying his claims, the Colombian government has responded to President Maduro. Though through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ivan Duque administration has said that it is committed to political and diplomatic action to remove the elected government of Venezuela. Bolivian President Evo Morales has condemned a fire set by protesters to an electoral court in the department of Santa Cruz. Opposition supporters and students from the University of Gabriel René Moreno were protesting against Morales and his plans to run for re-election. According to the government, these events are compared to 2008 when opposition groups attempted a coup against President Morales. The Minister of Interior, José Luis Quiroga, also denounced the violence and said they were an attack on democracy.
We need to stop these acts of violence. That's what the police has been ordered to do, and to begin investigations. This group of delinquents receiving orders by the political opposition needs to be identified. This was a planned action and covered as false peaceful actions. But their real plan is to create violence, take over institutions, and destroy democracy in Bolivia.
First break here at From the South. We'll be back in a minute, but remember to follow us on Twitter at Telesur English and my personal account at Laura P. Telesur. We'll be back.
With developing events being presented through analysis. Our coverage transcends borders. With renowned journalist Walter Martinez.
Salud amigos, tripulantes de nuestra querida, contaminada y única nave espacial.
Dossier. Weekdays. Only on Telesur.
Y ponga usted las cámaras, señor director.
An occasion to enjoy the cultural diversity that defines our South American essence. Come along to find out the story behind these personalities, traditions, and artistic expressions that unite us as a whole. Real Lives. Friday. Only on Telesur.
Welcome back. The Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has signed a bill to withdraw the education reform proposed by his predecessor, Enrique Peña Nieto. López Obrador said he wants to replace the reform with a new initiative that guarantees free education for all. He added that this new reform will include a parents' and teachers' pact. The proposal will now be sent to Congress for its approval. Now we update on the situation of the Central American migrant caravan, who are claiming that their asylum requests be processed faster. Around 100 migrants holding flags of their native countries in Latin America walked along a highway to get to the U.S. consulate in Tijuana to deliver a petition requesting their asylum claims to be processed faster, but they were stopped outside by the Mexican police with riot gear.
We're only asking that they accelerate the process, that more people are able to pass through each day. That's all we're asking, and that, for us to apply for asylum, the same people from the government evaluate us and decide who really gets political asylum.
And the Mexican government has announced that they will provide thousands of humanitarian and working visas to the Central American migrants. The government has already handed out 600 visas to members of the migrant caravan currently waiting at the U.S. border with Mexico. The document grants the migrants to access social and employment services. According to United Nations, a total of 7,000 migrants have left their countries in large groups over the last few months. And it's been 4 months since the beginning of the return to homeland Venezuela's governmental plan to which over 10,000 citizens have returned to the country after denouncing cases of xenophobia and work-related abuses in countries they migrated.
The return of Venezuelans to their country is making an impact internationally. The stories they tell speak of the abuses and politicization of migration, something they themselves had to discover.
We experienced humiliation. At one point, some kids spit in the face of my son. That, to be honest, was an extremely low point for me.
The government plan to assist in the reparation of citizens has been attacked by the media, but at the same time hides the reality of other countries that do not respect basic rights.
Social nature and human nature have to affect governments which don't take care of their people. And so surely this has created some uneasiness among those who have attempted to keep Venezuelan migrants in some sort of sequester in other countries. They do this in order to paint them as suffering in order to receive international aid funding and continue the campaign against Venezuela. I think the main reason why the program has been attacked is because it's a program which has been effective, visible and overall dignified because people are returning to Venezuela in the best possible way.
It was a way of being treated. I don't know how to describe to you how bad it was for us there.
They describe the xenophobia, the labor exploitation, and the discrimination that the international governments do not talk about.
Xenophobia is an induced process. It's transmitted culturally. It isn't something we're born with. People have been loaded with that xenophobic dynamic as if it were a natural process of human life.
Many of the more than 10,000 Venezuelans who have returned come from a reality that they hadn't known. The government had this to say about it.
Today, for the first time, Venezuela has economic migrants who suffer exclusion and violations to their human rights in the countries they have migrated to. And Venezuela can say that we defend our model because Venezuela is the country that receives the second largest number of migrants on our continent. Over the last decade, we have received immigration from Asia, from Africa, from the Middle East, from Europe, from our continent. We have taken them in as they are, our brothers who have arrived at our borders for a better life or for personal reasons or fleeing war, as in the case of Colombia. There are up to 6 million Colombian migrants.
Up until now, the Return to the Homeland Plan has returned Venezuelans from 8 countries. The Venezuelan Foreign Ministry has said that the plan will remain active for the year 2019 in order to continue defending the human rights of Venezuelans.
And Uruguay's former president, José Pepe Mujica, has met with Fernando Haddad from Brazil's Workers' Party and told him how he felt about the imprisonment of Lula da Silva.
Lula is a cause, he's not a man. Lula is a needy people's hearts. That's the best thing about him. People are burdened with might and I cannot be felt.
A group of gay footballers in Brazil are showing their concern about the upcoming government of Jair Bolsonaro. They are vowing a campaign of resistance but fear that 2019 may be a dark year for the LGBTI community in the South American giant. The footballers already face homophobia in this sport and says Bolsonaro's comments won't help.
I think the upcoming future, 2019, will make us look towards resistance. When I say resistance, it's not about militarism or anything like that. It's about resisting in order to keep on existing.
Talking about Brazil German Chancellor Angela Merkel has warned that the new Brazilian government could make it more difficult to achieve a trade agreement between the European Union and the Mercosur.
Time is running out for an agreement between the European Union and Mercosur. The agreement will not be easy to reach with the new government in Brazil. Argentina has done an excellent job and invited Chile to join as a partner. I'm concerned to see that Brazil will not host the upcoming World Climate Conference. I haven't had a chance to talk to the new Mexican president yet, but I'm trying to do it soon. The United States has to remain a good partner, and we will not to be ones to run it. But there are negative developments with regard to multilateralism, which I regret.
The president of the Caribbean Court of Justice is bringing down the gavel on countries that have failed to join the regional court. Only 4 out of 15 Caribbean states are signatories to the court's appellate jurisdiction. Justice Adrian Saunders is telling regional countries to stop procrastinating and get on board as full members. He added that some states do not need a referendum to join the Trinidad-based court. Last month, Grenada and Antigua and Barbuda voted against the court, replacing the London-based privy councils. Justice Saunders says while this outcome was disappointing, it will not discourage the court from being an instrument of justice.
I've had a pretty boring past, kind of.
Time for a second break. Stay tuned.
The ruling world order has always subjugated the masses. But who are the actors behind every move? What are their real interests? We analyze every move on Critical Move. Weekdays, only on Telesur. Telesur brings you special interviews with social and political personalities. Monday, from Washington. Tuesday, from Mexico. Wednesday, from Caracas. Thursday, from Quito. Friday, from Havana. Analysis about our continent's reality. Weekdays, only on Telesur.
Welcome back. The United States Congress has approved a sanctions law against Nicaragua called the NICA Act. The legislation will enable sanctions against all international financial organizations that loan money to the Nicaraguan government. This law also will impact the economy of the Central American country. President Donald Trump has declared Nicaragua as a threat to the national security. Commander-in-Chief of the Nicaraguan Army, Julio Cesar Aviles, has vowed to fight for the honor of the country with the rest of the army. He said that he will always be committed to defending independence, sovereignty, and self-determination, the foundation of the country. New officers will also fight for the defense of sovereignty, including land, sea, and air. He added that they will also contribute to the fight against drug trafficking and organized crime. Donald Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen, has been sentenced to 3 years in prison. Cohen has sentenced for his role in the payment of hush money to women who said they had affairs with Trump, and for lying to Congress. Prosecutors argued that hush money payments violated campaign finance law. Cohen said the payments were directed by Trump, implicating him in a possible campaign finance law violation. He told court he felt obligated to cover our client's dirty deeds. Meanwhile, attorney for Stormy Daniels, one of the women linked to the hush money payment, has described Cohen as neither a hero nor a patriot. He held little back as he waded into Cohen and his former client, Donald Trump.
He deserves every day of the 36-month sentence that he will serve. And I will also note with great irony, Michael Cohen will report to federal prison exactly 1 year after we filed the case on behalf of Stormy Daniels. Michael Cohen was sentenced today. Donald Trump is next.
Russian and Israeli defense officials held talks in Moscow with the aim of preventing incidents in Syria. The delegations discussed the Operation Shield of northern Israel, which aims to neutralize the cross-border tunnels that Hezbollah militants have dug between Lebanon and Israel. According to a report by the Russian Ministry of Defense, both parties discussed the work of the communication channels between the Henim base and the Israel Incident Prevention Command Center. The armies of Israel and Russia announced they will keep in touch. Israeli extremist group launched a campaign to incite the assassination of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. The Secretary General of the Palestine Liberation Organization, Saeb Erekat, cataloged this initiative as an attack to the peace process in the region. He pointed to the responsible being Tel Aviv regime and U.S. government. In Tunisia, the National Coalition has launched a new political front. The party has gathered the basis of the Nida Tunis movement while bringing together new progressive forces. Let's find more.
The National Coalition was born of the Nida Tunis political party, a bloc led by Prime Minister Youssouf al-Shahed. This political party has conducted several surveys, this in a bid to launch a new political party open to new progressive forces.
The Prime Minister and members of the government are at the forefront of this project. Congress representatives are also supporting our project.
The National Coalition was once the main ally of the Al-Nashara movement, but now it seems destined to become its main adversary. The coalition is looking towards a new era of politics, but that could be brought to a halt by the Al-Nashra movement.
The coalition's battle with the Al-Nahda movement will be decisive, although this battle will be just a partial one, since the real battle involves the chief of state.
The National Coalition announced the objectives just before launching its project, which seeks to offer a fresh political option.
And the athlete Carmen Lopez has become the first Spanish blind female to participate in the World Surfing Championship La Jolla in California. The first time in 4 editions, the competition including a team of visually impaired women. Lopez surfed guided by instinct and signals whistled by her coach. The 20-year-old also practices figure skating and horse riding. She says she wants to encourage people to challenge their limitations. Pope Francis has removed 2 cardinals from his group of close advisors over sexual abuse scandals. One of the cardinals removed from the Pope's advisory group in Rome is the economy minister, considered one of the most powerful positions in the Vatican. The other member removed is Francisco Javier Errázuriz from Chile. Let's review Cardinals Francisco Javier Errázuriz live. Francisco Javier Errázuriz was born in Santiago de Chile on September 5, 1933. He's a Chilean cardinal of the Catholic Church and archbishop. He was ordered priest on July 16, 1961, and in 1974 he was appointed General Superior of the Fathers of Snodnat Institute in Germany. When he returned to Chile in 1996, he was named bishop and then cardinal by John Paul II. In 2002, allegations of sexual abuse emerged within the Chilean church. And in 2018, he is summoned to testify before the Rancagua office for a cover-up. Now we go to Africa, where 5 Rwandans are facing trial in Belgium for their alleged involvement in war crimes and genocide in 1994. They face charges for acts in connection with the 1994 genocide of about 800,000 people, mostly from the Tutsi minority. The prosecutor's office said this is the first time that a Belgian criminal court will rule on the crime of genocide. Since 1993, courts in Belgium, the former colonial power in Rwanda, have been allowed to judge Belgian presidents for crimes committed abroad. Like this, we've come to the end of this news brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website, telesurenglish.net, where of course you can check on opinion articles, special interviews, and more news. Stay with Telesur, connecting the global south. Until next time.